Hey guys, what's up? Today we're just going to be doing a little fish room tour. I'm going to be talking about each and every tank just a little, showing you guys what I have in them and what I have been doing lately. So for this tank, I finally got around to it and hung up this Flowable LED bar. Got my little pothos wrapped around there nicely. I like it. All the plants coming out the back. Got these shelves going up. I got that third one going up, but one of the drywall anchors broke on me, so I gotta go get a different one, or a couple more, I guess. But aside from that, I took off the Aquaclear 110 off the side. Makes it look a lot more slick, just more classy, I think. Please don't mind my AC. I kind of jerry-rigged it, but I got all this cleaned up today. Got all my plant stuff down here, some of my tools, water change stuff, medicine, TDS meter. Back there I got aquarium salt. Back there I got a bag of Flowable Stratum in case I ever need to do anything else to my tanks. Add a little more substrate. Right here I got my water change stuff down there. Python, some regular just regular hoses. Right here I got I use this, it's like a drinking water thing, but I use this for water changes on the shrimp tank. Sorry, I started laughing at that picture back there, but if you caught a glimpse of that, you'll see it again later. I use a little siphon out the top for the shrimp, but I like this bottom part for my beta tanks because I don't have to drip acclimate the water when I do water changes, so it's nice and quick, but it's also not a big old jug. I don't need it, you know what I mean? Right here I got my filter stuff, some brine shrimp nets and some shrimp net. This is some cheap vinyl paper. So like I use it as background. I use it as a background in this tank. It only cost me maybe $2-3 a box, and it only took I think 2 boxes for this tank. It's super cheap and turns out pretty good. Now that I'm seeing it, I just noticed there's like a slight gap there, but I mean, it's up to you, you know, whatever you decide, however much effort you decide to put in is the result you're gonna get. Moving on, I got my foods up here. Goldfish food, so my girlfriend likes to feed. Got shrimp food, and then we got nano fish food back there. Beta food. I like bug bites, if you can't tell. In here it says tube effects, but in here I actually have bug bites for my rainbow fish. Let me show you real quick. We'll just set that there. And then here I got first bites for the fry. Here I got some more. It's like fry food, but it's more when they're like juveniles. It's not so much like first bites. Here I have some sea chem flakes, shrimp cuisine, some more just goldfish flakes back there. Have some fish net back there. I keep my big fish net here, and my I'll just show you guys. I think this is sea chem. Yeah, sea chem glass scraper. I have a smaller one down there. On this side, all I have is the 407 and some outlets for my power head and a heater. This is what I currently run my tank at, like in terms of brightness, just because I've been getting a lot of algae lately and I want to balance it back out. So I'm going really dim and shortening the time that the lights are on. And so for the sake of the video, I'm gonna turn up the brightness. I like this Flowable bar because check it, you can just boom, boom. You can hold it, adjust it, turn it all the way up. Let's see what it looks like. It looks really nice when it's really bright, but I mean, in a planted tank, you gotta prioritize the plants over your over the aesthetics, you know what I mean? Finally cleaned up these lids. I got them donated a while back and they were just super crusty with mineral buildup. And finally I could see through them, actually use them as lids and have some brightness come through them. Before they were really dim, so I had to have the light all the way up, and in places where the lids weren't dimming out the light, it was just blowing up with algae. So finally kind of got it leveled out. Moving on. See how much dimmer that is though? It's nuts. We got the shrimp tank here. It's a shrimp and nano tank. Sorry about the glare. Let me, hold on. Alright. It's a little uglier now. Oh man. We got the shrimp tank here. Sorry about the glare. It's a window tank. What can you do? But I mean, this is what happens when you got a window tank. It just blows up with plants. I love it. But let me see if I can't find some shrimps to show y'all. They were all just here on the tube a second ago. Oh, maybe I can show you the fry instead. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Poking his head around back there. Yup. So, jumping ahead, that is a Galaxy Rasbora fry. We had two Galaxy Rasbora fry in here initially. There's a baby. There's one of their babies. So that one there is the parent. There is another parent somewhere in here. They bred naturally. We just let them do their thing, and boom, we saw some fry just like you just did. And we fed them, we grew them out, and now there's another. We have 3 adult Galaxy Rasbora in here, and they bred another baby. There was initially 2 fry. Can't find them anymore, but there was initially 2 fry. One of them must have died off or something. We got the other one. Hopefully we can make it 4 Galaxy Rasbora. That'd be amazing. But let me see if I can't find you guys some shrimp. So I found one. Nothing too exciting, just a regular old brown shrimp. We initially started off with just blue shrimps, and then we got a couple brown shrimps in here, and then from there we got red rillies, we got all kinds, some with red eyes, Kanoko shrimp I think it's called, every kind of color shrimp you can think of. Here's another one. This is their little shrimp cove. There's another one. But like I was saying, it's just all kinds of shrimp, like all varieties. That's like a yellowish shrimp. There's actually a blue shrimp right there. It's horrible display of it, but you can tell just because it's super dark. And aside from that, I just realized I almost skipped out on the Emerald Rasbora we have back there. He's a really good hider, so surprised we even get a chance to see him today. Also, before moving on, can't forget about this little forgetting the name. What is the name? Cardinal Tetra? Cardinal Tetra. I think that's what it's called. Got a little pothos in this tank, just barely starting to get going. It was struggling for a while because it kept going in and out of the water. But moving on from this tank, we have Gilbert the rescued goldfish. This bucket here has a, what is this, Fluval 70 hang on the back. It came from the goldfish tank, but I put the AquaClear 110 that was on this side. I put it on that tank because it was really struggling with the AquaClear 70. It was just struggling to stay clean, and now, as you can see, haven't touched the tank in maybe 2-3 days. It's super clear, but I'm having other issues with that tank. We'll get to it in a bit. Anywho, this is going in there, but let's tell the story about Gilbert. Gilbert is a rescued goldfish. Someone won him at the fair, a friend of ours. Let me see if I can't get him to show you. Come on. There you go. So turn around. There you go. You see his gill flap? It's missing. So he was in a tank that was a little too small for his needs, and he's very violent and aggressive, and he likes to play. Like, here. Come here, Gilbert. Look at him. Look at him. He's attacking my finger. Like, what? does your fish do this? So he must have ripped it off on some decor that they had in the tank, and he lived though. He lived through it, and he eats and everything. Everything's perfectly fine. He swims perfectly fine, functions normal. The only thing is when he eats something like tubifex worms, he loses a little bit out through the side of his gill where he doesn't have the gill flap to catch all those particles. So it kind of just, instead of filtering all the good stuff, it just lets it out, which is unfortunate, but I make sure he gets fed good. You can ask my girlfriend. Matter of fact, I'm gonna cut back to when we get this AquaClear 70 in there and do a quick water change. Show you how happy he is. He gets zoomies. He's like a dog. He just goes back and forth. All right, so we got it all set up. Everything's ready to go. All we gotta do is plug this thing here in. Let it prime itself up. Might take a minute. I didn't put too much water in there. Then now the main reason, sorry for the quietness, I was just focusing, but the main reason for the filter swap is because this one is going to be running a lot quieter than the other one. The other one is a loud hum. It's an Aqueon 75 quiet flow. But it's super loud, super annoying. It like rattles and it splashes so much, and this thing runs quiet. And number two, that other one doesn't really do a good job. I have to jerry rig like homemade pads, cut them to size and stuff like that, and it's just a hassle. This is super easy, you know, just a sponge filter, switch it out if I want to, or rinse it if I need to, and it's just much nicer. Let me get the lid on there. We'll be back. This thing's almost gonna be ready to prime. It'll probably be priming when I'm back. So I wasn't able to find the lid in the moment, but it'll probably turn up when I'm not looking for it anymore. This thing's going, but it's not really going. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Huh. Very odd. So I figured it out. It's just this thing it needs to be a little bit higher. There we go. Much better. Where's Gilbert? So now that we got Gilbert's tank all buttoned up, let me take you over to another goldfish tank. Ooh. So this is them. I think this one's name is Ariel. These are my girlfriend's fish, so excuse me for not knowing their names. That one's Chonker. We just call that one Red Cap. There's Ranchu back there. I love that guy. Look at him. He's starting to get a little wen going. Red Cap's wen's huge, man, huge. We got two black Moors. Originally, my girlfriend just got this one from the fair, grew it out, and it just lived, man. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. We got it when it was the size of maybe like this guy right here, Ranchu. And so compare that to that, it's ridiculous. As I was saying earlier, I put the AquaClear 110, or now Fluval 110, on this tank because the Fluval 70 hang on the back was really struggling. It just constantly needed a cleaning, and it was just wasn't good enough for the, you know, good enough for the task. Aside from that, the other problems I've been having in terms of water quality is this tank smells. I don't know why it smells. Even with this, I did a water change when I put it in. I put a clean mechanical sponge filter in there, and it's still clear. You can see it's clear, but I mean, it keeps the water clean. It's just, it still smells. I don't understand why. Maybe maybe I can try like some Purigen. I think, yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I think that would be a good idea as far as what I know about Purigen. Only heard about it maybe like 2 or 3 times from Caveman Aquatics, the man himself. Aside from that, there's nothing much really going on in this tank. It's just water changes and feeding. These guys don't really need much. Very simple, easy to forget about, but can't really forget about them when it stinks. So now I'm gonna take you back over to another tank. Here we got the 20-gallon beta 20-gallon beta sorority. It's a 20 long. I just have a cheap little filter going on it. I mean, it does the job. I got a Fluval light. It's not big enough for this tank, so I kind of have to hang it. Otherwise, it's just sitting in the middle and it doesn't get enough spread. But it works like this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And plus, it's like a freaking $100, $200 light. I'm not just gonna not use it. You feel me? Sometimes I run CO2. You can see my CO2 kit back there. I haven't been running it lately just because I can't really turn up the light. I can't really turn up the light more than this, and it just wouldn't really make sense to waste my money on CO2 when it's not very beneficiary. It definitely helps some, don't get me wrong, but it's not gonna make a, I mean, it would make a huge difference, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not what I'm looking for right now. You can see that one is a jerk sometimes. Wow, she's really being a jerk. But for the most part, they just mind their own and eat and hide in the bushes and sit up here in the top of these leaves and just, they hang out. It's not overly aggressive at all. These betas are doing really nice. Oh man, I'm sorry, I need to clean the glass. Goodness gracious. Anywho, I have some gold Inca snails in here. I don't know why I'm pointing when I could just zoom in on them. Oh yeah, that's why. And there's another one right there. I had a total of 6 in here. One of them disappeared. The other 3 I have in the 75-gallon now. But they laid a bunch of egg clusters all around my tank. This one, I believe it's this one that has started to hatch. Looks like it to me, don't you think? This one here is pretty fresh, so hopefully it hatches soon, but I'm not expecting anything anytime soon. This one's been here for a minute, so hopefully it's next. There's another one in the very back here. You can kind of see it there. Sorry, I didn't want to mess with it because of my plants. Oh man, all better now. I really like to let my plants grow out of the tank, as you've seen, because it's like a natural filter. In nature, the water, I mean the plants that grow out of the water but are, what do you call it, rooted in the underneath the water, like they grew underneath the water at first and then they grew submerged. They're still taking nutrients from the water. They're still pulling toxins like nitrite, ammonia. They're still helping break down organic waste in the substrate. So it's super beneficial and it looks nice. I love it. So hopefully they start kicking off some more soon. Speaking of plants though, this one I cannot get it to stay rooted for the life of me. I put it here, I put it there, and it just, the snails, man, they burrow underneath the substrate, so they like to uproot plants, but it's no big deal. I'll just plant it again, I guess. Those little baby snails, let me see if I can show you one. There you go. Look at them, little whiskers hanging out. They are everywhere. Everywhere. Just absolutely everywhere. It's really cool. I love these snails. I would want to breed an army of them because they just, as much as they poop, they really help you stay on top of algae, so you can push your plants a little harder. You can push a little more light, and they'll just stay cleaning up the algae, so you won't have that algae problem. And they eat anything, literally anything, so you don't have to worry about overfeeding as much. You still have to keep an eye on your portions, but you don't have to be so afraid that anything that the fish don't eat is just gonna get left there. I like Corydoras, don't get me wrong. I like all these little bottom feeders, like all those bottom feeder fish, but I don't know, it's just not really my style. It's not my cup of tea. It's not something I like to keep in my aquariums. So instead I go with snails and other bottom feeders. Like I have a Bisher in the 75 gallon that will literally eat 3 cubes of bloodworms. So I have no problem feeding that tank as much as I want to. Moving on from this tank, because I think that's about it. Am I missing anything? No, that's about it. Yeah, no. Moving on from this tank, yeah, we got this one here. It is, I like to call it the Serious Stone Zen Garden, but currently it's actually just a fry grow out tank. Oh, look, there's one. These are Buenos Aires Tetra Fry. I had a couple I had a 13 or 8, I think. Yeah, I had 8 Buenos Aires Tetra, and I had 5 Panda Tetra that I got by accident. I was supposed to get 13 Buenos Aires, but whatever. I had them in the 75 gallon rainbow tank. They were too nippy. They were nipping the life out of my rainbow fish and my gouramis, huge gouramis. And so I had to put them in here for maybe 2 days until I could take them back to the store. And in that time, I guess they scattered eggs all over the place, and so now we have fry. There was a lot more. There were about 20, and it's dwindled down to maybe about 10 now. And they're pretty good hiders, but there's one. You see them when they want to be seen. It's very seldom you just look in here and see one, so kind of lucky. But I've been feeding these guys baby brine shrimp and first bites, a little bit of that Pandora stuff, that gold bag I showed you guys earlier, and they've been growing pretty good. There's another huge one that, like, it's pretty big. It's starting to have a little bit of color on him in here, but I can't find him at the moment. If I see him, I will give you guys a good close-up. And they're growing pretty good. Some are still super tiny, and there's, like I said, that one big one. It's just those hormones that they release, growth inhibiting. It's called GIS. I forgot what that last word stands for, but it basically makes everybody else, like, it stunts everybody else's growth. And the one who releases the most hormones, I think, just gets to grow the biggest. And so some are smaller, some are bigger. What you can do to help combat that is change the water very often, every day or after every feeding is what I try to do. But it's also hard to stay on top of, constant water changes every day. So if I'm not able to do a water change, or I'm really not feeling it that day, I try not to feed them too heavy. And I'll even put in a little bit of prime, just enough to hold me over for the next day, and then I'll do a water change the next day after I feed again. And that's how I've been going along. But in terms of the tank itself, the Bucephalangia green I have here is doing pretty good. Starting to get some nice bright green leaves on there, coloring up. We have Anubias Nana Petite up there in the cracks. They're starting to fill it in and hold their place, so that's a good sign. This one was right there, but because it grew and started shooting some roots out, it pushed itself out of the crack, so I'm gonna have to replant that. No biggie. I have a Scarlet Temple I stole from the next tank we're about to see. The top was out of the water in the other tank, so it started to die off. So I trimmed it in the middle, and it's starting to get some new growth here. Scarlet Temple is one of my favorite plants. Unfortunately, I have very bad luck when it comes to keeping it. I can't seem to keep it alive. But I had one Scarlet Temple left from the last batch I bought. Gave it to my girlfriend, told her if she can make it live, she can have it. So she put it in her beta tank and it lived. It did really good. It's doing really good. And so now I get to steal some more. That's the beauty of keeping plants in your tank and having multiple tanks. You can always steal some plants if you're not having any pest issues. You can always steal some plants from another tank and just, you don't have to keep buying plants when you already have some. You just grow them out, use the trimmings, and it saves you a lot of money. This Dwarf Sag, for example, I got it from her tank as well, because the Dwarf Sag was sending a bunch of runners just starting to take over, and we needed to clear out some room for the beta to swim. And we got some new growth. I mean, nothing exciting, it's just grass really. But we got some new growth on that. I had originally a little sponge filter in the back corner hidden, and it was more than enough for this tank. It was perfect, could do the job good. But I started noticing that stuff would start to just settle down here because it would just push all the water and just let it settle here, and there wasn't enough water flow to spread everything around the tank or get it to go back into the filter, or filter the sponge. And so I got this one, a dual sponge filter, and it has the air intake right there, so it pulls the air up the tube, and when the air goes up the tube it creates a vacuum, so it pulls water with it. And so now you have two sponge filters pulling in water, filtering out the detritus or whatever it may be, and now you have water flow coming out here, so you actually have a little bit of water movement, so you don't have too many problems with the detritus buildup or dead spots. I just use a cheap little light I got from a fish shop down in, what was it? I think it was like Santa Barbara or something like that. Super cheap, like 24 bucks. I just have it on a switch. I turn it on and off. This tank is the Aqueon edge lit kit, so you can turn on the lights on the around the edge, lights up the edge. It's pretty sick at night, not gonna lie. You can turn it white, you can change it colors, all sorts of stuff. You can make it go rainbow. I don't know why you'd want to do that to your fish, but I mean, you can, you know. I just leave it off for the most part, unless at night I just want to catch a vibe. I'll turn it on because, like I said, it's pretty cool. I threw some duckweed in here, but because of the sponge filter like blowing the bubbles, it gets stuck to my lid, so it's not having too much success in growing in the tank. But you can see there is a little bit back there. It's living. It's not like something I want taking over the tank either, so it's kind of a good thing. Well, not really. Now I have to clean off a whole bunch of duckweed off the top of my lid. You win some, you lose some, you know, you gotta live with it. That pretty much does it for this tank. If you're wondering how much these stones cost, if you're trying to make a scape like this, these two stones cost me about $85. I bought them from a local fish store, which I encourage you to go support your local fish store. But at the end of the day, if you're in a pinch and you want to do this, landscaping suppliers have a bunch of stone to pick from. You can give them a call, see if they'll work with you and just sell you a little bit. Some only do wholesale, but never hurts to ask. Moving on. Oh wait, I lied. You're probably sitting there wondering, how is there baby fish if there is no oh wait, I told you guys. What's my problem? Moving on. So here we have the Fluval Beta tank. It's a kit, comes with the light and all, filter, everything. It's really nice. I like it. It's a little small, I'm gonna be honest, for a beta. It's a little small, but it works for just a beta, just the beta by itself. She has a little bit of room in there to swim around. I'm not saying this is what you should go for. I would encourage maybe a 10-gallon, a 5-gallon at least, like the one we were just at. But she has enough room. We've got plants in here, Scarlet Temple, some Dwarf Sage, some Rotala back there. I forget what this is, but it's like a little cornstalk looking thing. This one's name is Aphrodite. She is a little, what do you call her? A brat, per se. Look at it. She's just on it. She's on you like a shrimp on fried rice. She's very friendly though. She's sweet. I guess she just looks aggressive. I mean, come here. Come here. So Aphrodite has survived dropsy. She's a rescue from Petco. There's not much to this tank. It's just her and some plants vibing out. It's nice. I like it. It's very peaceful. We have it in the bathroom, if you didn't notice. So yeah, it's very relaxing when you know you got to do what you got to do. I forgot to tell you guys earlier, my rainbow fish have parasites. They have nematodes. So it's a parasite that lives in their intestinal tract, and it eats any food I feed them. And it lives there comfortably and just spreads like wildfire. It's very hard to treat, one of the hardest parasites to treat in fish. And here is the cure. So you can use Metroplex with Focus and Garlic Guard to try to feed them medicine through their food they normally eat. But honestly, my fish didn't like eating anything with the medicine, with the Garlic Guard or anything like that. They didn't like that food. They didn't like the smell, and I think they tasted the medicine, so they just didn't like it at all. So this is what I use instead. Fritz Expel P. It is a miracle worker. I've used it a while back and it had good results. My fish, so what this parasite causes your fish to do is it causes them to lose like their what do you call it, like self-control, I guess. So they will randomly try to jump out of the tank to escape their environment because they have a parasite in them, so they naturally just want to get out of the body of water because they think it's the body of water. I'm not sure if that's quite right, but that's my belief. And so it can be very dangerous if you don't have any lids on your tank or you have big fish, because they can hurt themselves. Sometimes they will spaz out and hurt themselves against the hardscape, and so it's very dangerous. It can be very dangerous for your fish, and if they don't die from them accidentally hurting themselves or jumping out of the tank, they will eventually die from starvation and malnutrition because they are not getting the nutrients or food that they need to survive. So yeah, if you ever need this stuff, get it from aquariumcoop.com. It's not a sponsor, but they deliver the fastest and they are the most reliable people that I've had shipping in terms of my aquarium needs. But yeah, so you treat the Expel P, and in one day, sometimes before I saw one actually start crawling out of their anus. Yeah, I know I'm childish, sorry. But yeah, I saw it crawling out of its anus, and so it does work really quick. You do weekly treatments up to, I believe, four treatments consecutively, and then you give them a break and see if you need to continue doing treatments. But usually by then, this stuff does the trick. Last time, what happened was I only did 2 treatments, and I didn't do them per the instructions, I did it with the light on, and it is a light sensitive treatment, so if you have the lights on it won't work as good. So this time I did it with the lights off right before bed, and hoping it does its trick. I haven't seen anybody spaz out, so I think it's doing its thing. But if you like my videos, if you like my fish, if you like my tanks, if you like my vibe, subscribe and like. I'm gonna head out. Thank you. Bye bye.